Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to take up Dust of Snow, a poem written by Robert Frost, which is in your class 10th book, First Flight. Dust of snow means particles of snow. How small it is, right? But sometimes small things can also be very important as bringing a change in your day. Let's read this poem Dust of Snow written by Robert Frost in today's session and know what the poet is trying to tell us through this poem. It's a very small poem but has a very, very deep meaning. So before we start with the session, let me tell you what we are going to do today. We'll read and I'll explain the poem to you alongside the word meanings. Then I'll summarize the entire poem and tell you what thoughts the poet wants to express through this poem. Then we'll do the moral, followed by rhyme scheme and poetic devices, and at last the question answers related to this poem. But before all this, let's know more about Robert Lee Frost. Robert Lee Frost was born on 26 March 1874 in San Francisco, California. He was an American poet, but his work was initially published in England before it was published in the US. The only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry, he was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 for his poetic works. On July 22, 1961, Frost was named Poet Laureate of Vermont. His well-known poems are The Road Not Taken, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Mending Wall, Nothing Gold Can Stay, and more. He died on 29 January 1963 in Boston, Massachusetts, US. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. Shook is the past tense of shake. Dust of snow here means small particles of snow. And hemlock tree is a poisonous tree with small white flowers. This poem is set in a scene where the poet is in a bad mood and he is walking by a hemlock tree. Now on this hemlock tree there was a crow which was sitting, and the moment the poet was under the tree, the crow shook his body and the dust of snow fell on poet's shoulders and head. A hemlock tree is supposed to be a poisonous tree. So in this poem, the crow and the hemlock tree are supposed to be negative aspects. They both are signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Rued means held in regret. This poet, for unknown reasons, had a terrible day. He was in a bad mood. But when the particles of snow fell on him, at that moment his heart had a change of mood. His mood changed from bad to good. His mindset changed from negativity to positivity. And because of the falling of snow on him, the rest of the day was saved from his bad mood. He was already holding something in regret. His previous part of the day went in a bad mindset. He held something in regret. He was not feeling good. But now, after this incident, the rest of the day was entirely changed. He now felt very positive, very joyful, and good in his heart. So although the poet has used the crow and hemlock tree as negative references, but still these negative references had brought joy and happiness to him. So it all depends on how you feel in a particular situation. The poem is set with a scene when the poet is in a very bad mood and he is passing by a forest. When he passes by a tree, that is hemlock tree, which is a very poisonous tree, a crow was sitting on that tree. When the poet came under the tree, the crow shook his body and the dust of snow, that is the particles of snow, fell on poet's body. The poet was earlier in a very bad mood. He had a terrible day. But the moment these dust of snow or the particles of snow fell on him, his mood entirely changed. And after this, when he looked up and he thought at the hemlock tree and at the crow, he felt that however small these creatures may be, or however negative these creatures may be, they do bring fortune or they do bring happiness and joy. Just as they brought happiness to the poet and changed his entire mood. And after that incident, the rest of the day was also changed for the poet. The rest of the day wasn't as bad or as sorrowful as he had been living since morning. Now there are certain points that you need to think about which are expressed in this poem. Firstly, nature has healing power. Now there are two aspects of the nature which are explained here or which are portrayed here, a crow and a hemlock tree. Both these aspects are taken as negative aspects, but nature has such capabilities that it can heal your mood, it can heal your negativity and any kind of illness that you have. And the same thing happened with the poet also. Poet was in a bad mood, but when he came in contact with these two things of nature, his mood entirely changed. Secondly, however small things may be, they are capable of bringing about a big change in life. Dust of snow means particles of snow. They are termed as small things in life, but this same dust of snow, when fell on poet's body, they brought about a change in him. The poet who was sad, who was depressed, became suddenly delighted with those small things in life. Third thing that we must pay attention to is that sometimes we attach some negative concepts, some negative notions to certain things. For example, if a black cat crosses your road, you feel that the day is going to be very bad. Your work will never be done. Or suppose if someone sneezes while you're stepping out of the house, and then you will say, oh my God, you shouldn't have done that. Now my work will never get done. So what does that mean? This means that we already have some preconceived notions, some concepts about negative things. We attach these negative aspects with certain animals or birds or any part of the nature or even human beings. But through this poem, when the poet has shown us two things here, a hemlock tree which is a poisonous tree and a crow which is supposed to be a very negative creature, not a very happy creature. Both these negative things have brought about positive changes in the poet's life or in the poet's day. So here the poet wants to contradict that anything negative also has a capacity to bring about some positive change in your life. It's just that you have to open up your mind. It's just that you have to change your outlook towards that circumstance. Let us now look at the poetic devices and the rhyme scheme used in this poem. The first poetic device is alliteration, which is the repetition of consonant sound in consecutive words. For example, has given my heart, here her sound is repeated. Saved some, here sir sound is repeated. Next we have a poetic device called enjambment. Enjambment is used when a sentence continues without any punctuation mark. The meaning runs over from one poetic line to the next, but that doesn't stop. So in this entire poem, this poetic device is used, where you will find that there are no punctuation marks until the last line. So this is enjambment. Next, we come to rhyme scheme. A rhyme scheme is a rhyming pattern that is created at the end of the lines of poetry. So when we take out the rhyme scheme, the first line is always given the letter A. After that, we check the rest of the lines. If it rhymes, we give the same letter, or else we change the letter or we give next letter to it. Let's start and take out the rhyme scheme of this poem. The first line is A. The second line ends with me, which doesn't rhyme with the first line, so we give it a new letter B. The third line rhymes with the first one, so we give the same letter A. And the fourth line rhymes with the second line, so we give the same letter B. Coming to the next stanza, the first line of the second stanza does not rhyme with any of the previous lines, so we give it a new letter C. The second line does not rhyme with the first one, so we give it a new letter D. The third line rhymes with the first one of the stanza, so we give it the same letter C. Similarly, the fourth one rhymes with the second line, and so we give it the same letter D. So the rhyme scheme of this poem is AB, AB, CD, CD. So what is the moral of this poem? The moral of this poem is that we may sometimes take things for granted, but we must be open enough to accept whatever life or whatever nature blesses us with. That's all in today's session. I hope it helped. And now I'm going to flash the question answers in front of you. Please note the answers down or go through them. I'll see you again in my next video where I'll take up the same unit's poem, Fire and Ice, again written by Robert Frost. Thank you, take care, and have a great day.